it's me, your fanboy, and today is a tutorial kind of video, which is one I'm not super experienced in, but I would love to give it a try anyway, as long as that's okay with you, of course. And so the tutorial that I'm going to be doing, it's not even really a tutorial, it's more kind of like a tips and like advice kinds of thing, almost. So, and the topic of today's tip advice sort of video thingy is bimbos, as the title probably suggests. Now, I was asked by a couple people if I could give a little advice on to how to do a proper bimbo, which I think is funny because even though in my bio, like, I don't know if it's on here, but on Twitter and on Reddit and stuff, I say I'm a bimboy, which is kind of like a bimbo boy, which sounds cute. I didn't invent the term, like, at all. Like, it was made totally by someone else. But I thought it sounded adorable, and I was like, well, that's kind of like me. But I figured people have asked, how do you bimbo? And I thought, well, I tell you, at least tell you from my experiences, and they're absolutely not like universal. Like, what I think makes a bimbo isn't like what the next person thinks or whatever. And even then, this is just kind of like general tips that I use, that if you are looking to kind of be a bit more bimbo-y or kind of follow like the bimbo lifestyle a bit like me, I think that could be really fun. So yeah. So the number one, well, not number one, more like the first one, the first little bit of advice I would say is that makeup is, I think, super recommended, but not necessary. As you can see, I am wearing a tiny bit, but even then, I don't think you have to wear makeup to be a good bimbo. Makeup is something where it's kind of like, it's really kind of tricky, and not everyone likes it, of course. Like, it's a lot of work. It's a big hassle. So if you don't want to do makeup, like, don't do makeup. Like, you don't have to, just because a lot of other bimbos tend to, doesn't mean you gotta. Like, so that's the first thing I would say is if you don't feel comfortable wearing makeup, then you don't have to wear makeup to be a bimbo. I don't think it's necessary. The second little thing I have to say, by the way, if I keep looking this way, that's because I have my list right here, because I'm a bit, well, of course, I'm a bimbo. I'm too dumb and ditzy to remember. Speaking of that, the second little piece of advice is to just not think so much. Stop getting in your head. Like, if you want your brain to go all smooth and pink and cutesy and, you know, bimbo-y, like, just don't use it as much. Like, of course, it's not going to literally go smooth or anything, but what it kind of just, I find that if you just don't think about situations as much and you're not in your head as much and kind of just express yourself how you feel at the time, if anything, I feel like I'm happier that way because I don't feel like I have to worry as much about things. And you shouldn't. Bimbos don't gotta worry. Like, that's one of the funnest parts. Another thing is to try not to use very complicated words if you can help it. Try and simplify them. Like, instead of using the word complicated, just say like hard. Like, I think that could definitely get you on that right bimbo-y track if you just aren't trying to use super duper smart words, because that's for non-bimbos to use, not you. Now, also, as you could probably tell, I'm using a lot of like likes and like and like a lot of like little words like that to break up the sentence. And also, I like to use a lot of like totally and oh my goshes in sentence. So like, instead of saying, wow, that dinner was very wonderful, thank you, you say that that meal was like totally amazing, like oh my gosh, and that'll make you sound a billion times more bimbo-y. Kind of just the valley girl like way of speaking really, I feel like is a pretty good template for bimbo speak. And like that, you can also add giggles. I find that giggles and stuff kind of make it sound a bit more on the bimbo side of things, but you don't have to. If you can't really giggle that good, you just don't like how it sounds, you just don't want to. Like, nuh-uh, you don't gotta. Now, and I feel like this is a very important part of being a bimbo, is that you don't have to look like every other bimbo out there. It's like any general, that's a big word. I shouldn't, see, if I'm going into bimbo brain, you shouldn't use a word that big. But if it does slip out and you want to, you can. I mean, you could be a smartsy bimbo if you would like to. I feel like bimbos they're dumb and ditzy, but they're not stupid. There's a difference, I think, between dumb and stupid, and bimbos aren't stupid, we're just dumb. But a bimbo can be any shape or size at all. They don't all have to be like a tiny little hourglass waist and big old titties. Like, that is not like universal, and you don't have to be like that to be a bimbo. On it, if you want to, you totally can. Like, I'm not saying that if you want to or you already have that body shape, you shouldn't. But I would say that you don't have to. I mean, I have no hips and nothing basically right here. I do have a smallish waist, but that's just because I waist train, something that I also don't think is important for bimbos, but I think that could definitely be helpful if you would like to use it. Because ever since I started to waist train and use corsets and things like that, I've felt much prettier, and it kind of helps me get into that kind of like bimbo brain a little easier, if that makes sense. But obviously it's not for everybody, because that's a huge commitment. So, and just on like adding to that, bimbos don't need to all have, you don't need to have like blonde hair and like big old long nails or flashy and kind of like, like that. You don't have to. That's like, you have to express yourself the way you want to express yourself. Because if you are just copying the way someone else looks, and everything like that, it's not going to feel truly you, and so you probably won't be satisfied, or you won't like it very much. So definitely, I think that if you are going to go that direction, have your own identity with it. It's like any kind of like expression, like if you were goth or emo or things like that, you have to kind of make it your own. If you just copy everyone else and just do exactly what they say very strictly and like that, then I feel like it just won't be the same. And of course, I'm giving all these tips and like advice and stuff, but do not feel like any of them are necessary. And if anything, I feel like there's a lot of other little tips and advice out there too that I just didn't incorporate into this video, just because I'm a dumb baby and I forget. So yeah, this is an incredibly short, silly little video, but I have had multiple people ask me, what makes a bimbo, and can you help me become smooth brained? And so if I could help even just a little bit, I wanna. And of course, I know that the term can be sort of offensive to some people, and just the lifestyle itself can be seen as insulting to some, and I completely understand that. And it is absolutely, like, it's not required for you. I'm not saying that as a bimbo you're like more of a woman, or you're prettier, or like anything like that. It's just like an expression and like a way of life a bit, like, in a sense. And even then, it could be combined with other expressions. Like, I consider myself a bit emo and a bit goth and stuff like that, but also bimbo. So it's like I kind of fuse this together, and you absolutely can too. So, and I don't mean any disrespect with this if you do find the term offensive, because I do understand. So I don't intend to be like, well, you shouldn't be offended by that, and if you do, you're silly. Like, I don't intend that at all. So it's just a silly little question I've been asked, and as someone who identifies as a bimbo, I totally want to just put my little 2 cents out there. So yeah. I'm sorry this video isn't that long, and I hope that's enough of an explanation. I could absolutely do like a part 2, kind of telling a bit about like doing a makeup tutorial or tips and advice. I don't think I'm very good at makeup, But if you, at least I could give you kind of starter things that I wish I would have been told when I first started doing makeup. Or even with waist training, because waist training is something I do think I'm experienced with because I've done it for so many years. And so if you're interested in how to trim your waist just a bit and how to do it safely, I would love to help you with that too. But it's whatever. I don't even have to do either of those videos. Like, we don't even have to continue the bimbo train any further on this channel. I just thought it'd be a fun little silly idea. And since Legends Arceus isn't coming out till later this month, which is going to be my next series, hopefully, at least I'll do first impressions on it at the very, very, very least. I just figured, let's put that out there. So yeah, I love you, and I want to rub you too. Oh, cool.